Okay, guys, the war's over. The Axis conceded to the Allies. We had a few mistakes going around here and there. Overall, it was, I thought, pretty decent game. Some of the big battles was, I just did the Battle of Stalingrad, which I hung on to it with what, 5 fighters. But the Italians are going to be able to come in. But before the Italians come in, we already were, on our turn, we would have put a couple infantry down there, and they would have been able to rail. But also on turn 7, because this would have been turn 8 when he attacked it. I don't know what the Italians would have done on turn 7 before the big battle here, if they were going to go down to the Caucasus, but these guys would have railed from here. They would have been 1, 2, 3. They would have been here. So even if they railed down to the Caucasus or moved down to the Caucasus, they could have. And then we were going to put 2 artillery on each one of these as to help them infantry if we had to. That was my goal. But anyway, Germany put everything they could into Russia. And finally at the end, he started doing the Atlantic Wall. He did a ruse on me. He conned me out of my letting them know I didn't have AAA by threatening with these guys in the fleet. He bought some transports that he might have attacked United Kingdom, and I fell for it, but we protected it. But I did something that Johnny thought was pretty good, and I did. But I had a massive army of Americans and Commonwealth, and I just went ahead and attacked Vichy, France. So if he would have went to attack London, I would have moved into Vichy and liberated Paris, because he only had 3 infantry basically that would have stopped me, because he would have had to take everything he had to try to take London, and it was about a 50-50 shot. So that he decided to kick all my units out and try to do the Atlantic Wall. I honestly was going to let him know I think the Atlantic Wall, no matter what he put there, because that's what he had for turn 7. All right, but I was flying over 9 American planes, and we were going to buy a couple planes here, and then these guys were going to be splitted up against Japan, and down here take out his transport. So it would have been interesting, by the least. Japan, we had a big battle. You guys didn't see it. You saw the part of it, but it was messed up a tad. So we re-rolled it personally in-house, the 3 of us, by FaceTime, and over in the Philippine Sea. And I wound up winning that battle. I wound up winning it. He lost everything he had except for 1 fighter. I had 5 fighters left, a battleship and a destroyer, or a battleship and a cruiser for U.S., and then I still had all my transports with the guys. So after the battle, he also went down and tried to capture all the money islands with all his guys, which he did. But then I had to go back down with all my transports and stuff and try to take that all out. I left 1 here because I didn't want to stretch it out too bad. So giving him 1 resource, 1 oil, that's all they would have got the whole turn. They would have had 2. So even if they would have got the Caucasus, would have been 3. Then I could have took out French, or I could have took out the Dutch Indies over there, Dutch New Guinea, and they would never got the oil point or whatsoever. The Japanese were down, finally working their way out. They lost Hong Kong, but they had a decent little force. Their plans were probably to try to take those 2 back and hang on to it. Like I said, he has 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer running around with 3 transports, and I was cutting them off. Guys, I would have also brought some of those fighters. I was going to build an air base here, and 3 bombers and 3 TACs and 3 fighters would have been sitting there. I was going to put a transport here with this other transport. and a couple guys, and hopefully I was going to take Siberia back. Depending on what these guys did, was going to try to get Siberia back on turn 8 and work my way to try to capture Manchuria. I don't know if I would have got it. To take resources away from them also. But I had, I don't know, 15, 20 Chinese guys with like, there's 7 artillery, with some Commonwealth there, some planes. He would have never kept Hong Kong. No matter what he put in it, I would have took Hong Kong out, especially with the bombers and fighters and everything I had over there. So they wound up pretty much, I would say, with, if they would have wound up getting Stalingrad, they would have had 1, 2, 3, sorry, my yawning, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Germany, and the rag point would have been 8. Like I said, I don't think they would have got the Atlantic Wall. 8, and the best that Japan would have been able to do would have been 3. So that would have been 11. I think Japan would have been down to 2. Johnny says maybe, maybe not, but yeah. So they conceded, like I said, in turn 7 because they had no way to get up to 13. You know, Bill felt that he made a big mistake. He tried something different with Italy, and it didn't work out. It backfired. After that, the Italians were basically done. And so they were really basically no help to Germany. They brought him in. He started bringing them over here because he knew I really wasn't. I was threatening Rome most of the game, and then he slowly built it up enough and that, and we already had him contained, so we weren't really threatening that. I mean, I had the Americans, but I used them to do. He threatened England. I went and threatened Paris, and he made the call, So, but there you go. It was a great game against Wild Bill, Raider Bill, me, Rommel, and the Prussian gamer. So hopefully next time we'll see what happens.